Morning to you all, and welcome back to the Namaste experience. As always, I'm so happy to join all of you in being awake. The prayer that we just shared ends with the line, I choose to awaken now to the infinite love that is my source. And that's what we are doing here together. We are waking up together, no longer focused on what there is for us to do, but what has already been done, forever having been done, accomplished, completed. Everything that is true within you is already whole and complete and completed completely. I feel like I'm jumbling my words because I'm really just trying to say it's done, it's over. We don't have to do anything else. All we need to do is to remember that we never left heaven. We never left our true home, and now we can relax into that experience. So, what I want to do is to share something that I haven't shared a story or a parable in quite a while. So, I want to share a story that I wrote about the Divine Mother. As you know, I spent in the last few months time writing and sharing many parables about this great Hindu mother in the mountains of the Himalayas people would come to for advice or just to sit in her presence. Well, this is a story very early on in her ministry of just being present. This is at a time when very few people knew who she was. So I invite you to listen to this story, and then we're going to talk about the dream. So here we go. High in the folds of the Himalayan mountains, there lived a great mother, known only to a few seekers who found their way to her humble stone hut above the clouds. They would come to her when their lives had become tangled with sorrow or confusion, and she would greet them not with words, but with a silence so deep it seemed to stop the wind. One day, a young pilgrim arrived, trembling with despair. Mother, he cried, everything in my life is falling apart. My plans, my peace, my very sense of who I am. Why is God doing this to me? The mother smiled gently, her eyes clear as the mountain snow. Child, she said, when you sleep too long in a dream, it is the dream itself that begins to shake you awake. She led him to the edge of a cliff where the valley opened below, filled with mist and thunder. Do you see how the storm beats upon the earth? She asked. The earth does not curse the storm. It receives the rain. It yields to the wind, and then the sky clears. The storm is not punishment. It is renewal. So too, the confusion that rises in your mind when you cling to what is not true. The divine sends these storms not to break you, but to loosen your hold on what you are not. The divine sends these storms not to break you, but to loosen your hold on what you are not. When the false self crumbles, the real is revealed, like the peaks that appear only after the clouds pass. The young man wept and fell at her feet. Then what must I do, mother? He asked. She placed her hand upon his head and said softly, do nothing. Welcome the shaking. It is love's way of showing you that you have slept long enough. Let the dream fall apart and you will see that you never left heaven except in your imagination. When all that is unreal is gone. What remains is what you are, peace itself, untouched, unmoved. The world will still appear to tremble, but you will stand as still as the mountain, awake in the heart of God. I love that ending. The world will still appear to tremble, but you will stand as still as the mountain, awake in the heart of God. We all know that the world is trembling around us. The question is, are we going to be disturbed by that trembling or to realize that the dream is almost over? I'm sure we've all had the experience, we've mentioned this before, where you've been sleeping maybe too long, 9, 10 hours, and the dream that you're engaged in, the one that you take for real in that moment, becomes chaotic, becomes disturbing and even frightening. And we wonder, why is the dream becoming so difficult? Because it's time to wake up. The dream itself is an alarm clock. And when we have slept too long, it is simply there to remind us it's time to wake up. When we overstay the dream of the ego, the mind begins to generate increasing waves of confusion and disorder, not as punishment, but as mercy. That's the key. It's mercy that shakes us free from the dream. Many of you may know Krishnamurti. He taught that the mind clings to disorder and it creates more of it until it becomes utterly exhausted by its own projections. So here's the question. Are you utterly exhausted yet by the projections of your own mind? I hope so. This is a kind of divine exhaustion where you're exhausted of what is not real and longing for, desiring only that which is true, love itself. This exhaustion is grace in disguise, for only when the mind is weary of its self-created conflict does it surrender. Only when the mind is wearied of its self-created conflict does it surrender. That's the key. The chaos that we perceive within and without is really the compassionate intelligence of life shaking us from the illusory world, urging us to awaken from the dream of separation. So why not now? It's a question we ask here a lot. Why not right now? Why not realize, to see through our real eyes what is really happening, that this shaking that we see politically, socially, in our families and everywhere else is really just the dream ending. But it's also our determination to stay asleep. Isn't that interesting? When it comes time to awaken and you've had enough sleep and the dream is over and you know this, you awaken with joy. But when you've been sleeping too long and clinging to the dream, clinging to all of the images in that dream, awakening seems like something to be afraid of. All I can tell you for sure is that there's nothing for you to be afraid of because the light is in you now. So let's talk about Yogananda a little bit. He reminded us that the divine restlessness that we feel, it actually precedes divine peace. We have to feel that divine restlessness before we awaken into divine peace. When we feel the ground shaking beneath us, it's the soul that's stirring, preparing to ascend beyond all limitation. So, all the great saints talked about this. Ramana Maharshi, he would call this moment the moment when the false I begins to crumble. When the false I begins to crumble. When what we thought we were can no longer sustain itself. I'm wondering How many of you have gotten to that point that every idea, every concept that you had of who you thought you were no longer sustains the life that you're experiencing now? There is a great divine discontent where you say, there is more, and I know it, and I want to be there. I want to be in the all in all. Love itself. This is why our chant is so simple. Only love, only God, only now. So the turbulence of the war, of the world rather, it's like an alarm clock of consciousness, which rings louder and louder until we remember the stillness that was never disturbed, the stillness that's within each one of us right now. Each tremor that we feel is a sacred invitation to turn inward and to rediscover the self that has never known fear. Okay, so let's close with a little bit from, well, we'll start with A Course in Miracles, then we're going to end with our dear friend Nisargadatta, one of our favorites. So in the Course, it reveals that this is not a world to be fixed, but a dream to be forgiven. That's the key. The chaos that we witness is not the end. Everything that we're experiencing in the world today in every direction is not the end. It's the beginning of your awakening if you would but surrender into it. When we welcome atonement, remember that was our session yesterday, to welcome atonement, we cease trying to control the dream and instead allow love to reinterpret it for us. In that instant, as Nisargadatta says, you awaken to the dreamer, not the dream. You awaken to the dreamer, the I am presence within you. And you realize that nothing real has ever been lost. The shaking ends, the tremors recede, not because the world has become calm, but because we awaken to the peace that was there all along, the peace of God that needs no opposite. So once again, the time of your awakening is at hand. All you need to do is to relax, take a deep breath, and say, thank you. This is the moment you chose. Who set the alarm clock before you went to sleep? You, obviously. No one snuck into your room last night and set the alarm clock. But when the alarm goes off and there's still a part of us that wants to stay asleep, we integrate the alarm into our dream, don't we? The alarm clock becomes a fire truck or something loud in front of our house, and we wonder that why does that fire truck keep blaring its siren? There is no fire truck, there is no house, there is no world. It's a dream, and the dream has ended in love, in grace. So, what a beautiful way to end our week, to be reminded that the moment is now. The awakening is now. And the key is just to relax within all of the tremors. The sign of an enlightened one is simply the one who can not be moved, not be changed, not lose their peace, even in the midst of all this chaos, everything that's going on. I wrote a whole book about it. But the key is that title. I don't know. Maybe I love you. Not maybe I love you, but maybe I love you. So let's live in that today as we begin this weekend. So, Vicky, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Okay, Jimmy, I'm ready. So my message is, okay, everybody, party on. Because, we've been doing this for a long time together. And what we do is we get closer and closer to total determination, total willingness to let love take over. Really, isn't that it? And what I noticed this morning is every time, and when James, you started the week with upping the ante. We're going to be totally dedicated 24/7. Every time we get greater dedication, whoosh, things either fall apart around us or a new opening of, and I'm going to say the word play and joy, comes into expression. And I was looking at the different ways that showed up in our little family here on Zoom. Whenever there's a greater dedication, boom, a new Zoom pops up. Like we're doing, you do the prayer in the morning. Brother James is doing a new emphasis on really focusing and opening before our session in the morning. We do the afternoon. We do the 50-day. Scott's going to do the flashlight. Scott has been doing, I mean, the Chris is doing the dance. All of these represent a letting go of old controls and wish a new way to play comes in. A new way to sing and dance and pray and play and rest. And all of it is right at that place where the old stuff is starting to fall apart. And just like you said, James, let it all fall apart. Because what was falling apart was our self willed effort. Our self willed effort. And what Jesus says is listen, nothing but miscreation. I'm tired of miscreating. I don't want to miscreate another thing in my life. And this is the secret to making it simple and easy. When you're a mystic or when you study all these spiritual traditions, you have all sorts of ideas of what awakening is. I'm going to awaken to presence. I'm going to awaken to the real world. I'm going to live in presence, this and that. And the truth is, when we truly awaken, this is my own experience, what happens is there is a shift out of time and space and out of perception. It can be for just a blink or an instant. It has no bodily effect in it. It has nothing that you actually, nothing you remember because it's not perception. The best visions, the best energy running, and all the rest of it, those are levels still of perception, maybe emotional, maybe mental, maybe whatever they are. They're still levels that deal here in time. So don't worry about what does it mean to awaken? Is the world real? What is real? And the ego has a field day with taking on that. Let me convince you that the world is real. Here, read the newspaper. Let me convince you that you're really a body. Here's a dose of cancer for you. Let me convince you. That's the ego's tricks. If we try to run away and solve, and then the ego wants us to do this, solve the problem of the climate, of the weather, of the trees, of politics, of this and that, solve it all. If we spend our time solving it, what we do is we embed ourselves in more miscreation. So when we get things falling apart, and individually in our lives, we can tell because we lose interest in the effort anymore. It's just not worth it. I remember years ago, I was done with the restaurant and I couldn't write one more check. I was done. It was like the effort to maintain anything was done because the birth of something else was at hand. Trust it. But awakening doesn't have to be this esoteric, mystical experience of, oh, I've awakened, there's no time, I'm in whole presence and all that. It may well be that. But what is guaranteed today to every one of us here and wherever you find yourself, we can awaken to love, to the singularity of love right now. We can awaken in any instant where there's stress. Do we want to keep the stress? Do we want to push with the stress? Or do we want to, thank you, Judy, awaken to love? That's the choice we have. Love is what spirit is. Love is what joy is. Love is what we are. When we awaken to love, you don't have to worry. Do I know the world is real or it's not? What's an illusion? What's a dream? What's an hallucination? Don't worry about any of it. It will be self-explanatory. Awaken to love in the little things. in little things. Like I'm having a party today. So Bonnie and Dennis and Elaine are coming to visit me in a little while. They'll be here in a little bit. So I'm cooking up a storm. But what am I doing? I'm playing. I'm playing and I'm getting ready to welcome them to our time that's been given to us of love and playing. When we live in love, we do not live by the sweat of our brow. We live by grace. We don't live by effort. And we may be given many, many things to do, but it's not by sweat and effort. It's by, oh my gosh, I can't wait to do it. It's by play. It's by happiness. It's by giving. Love is a total give. Would you take an infant, like a newborn infant, and say, oh, I want to love you, I'll hug you, but I can only hug you for a little bit. I don't want to hug you all day. I'll just hug you now. It's like, please, you take that baby and you just love it up. You can't look enough in that baby's eyes. You just gaze. You want like everything goes on hold. I don't care what it is. I left the restaurant when Teddy was born. Oh my gosh, that's it. Forget it. It's like there's nothing. I just had to gaze at this baby. Love gives itself 100%. Everything in front of us, everything, the mail, a piece of paper, the bell, everything is what we are because we aren't really just these little, isolated canned bodies. We're the fluidity of music. We are the preciousness. Everything is the preciousness of what we see when we look at an infant. If we can more and more look at everything all day with that kind of appreciation, oh my gosh, everything's precious. Not the container it's in, the spirit that it is. Because when we love it, we tune to it. We're those tuning forks. We tune to love. We tune to love with everything around us when we love it, when we give ourselves to it, when we receive from it, when we let it be everything to us, the moment we're in. That's why there's no worry about time, oh, past or future. Love happens only right now, right now. And all of us can up the ante on, I'm just going to love right now because we're always loving ourselves. And it's true, we're giving up control because control was what we were after. We were looking to be in charge. We were looking to get control. We were looking to make our own world up. Well, we've done it. We've tried it. Wasn't so much fun after all. Let's go home now. How do we go home? Go home to love right now. Love everything around you. Take care of everything. Clean it nicely. Be gentle with everything, tender with everything, kind, helpful, and kind. Everything else will take care of itself. Everything, where we're to go, what we're to do, let everything fall apart because the way is being made ready to prepare literally for the kingdom of love, for what we call heaven on earth, through our willingness to only love. Then you won't have to worry, is it an illusion? Is it a dream? Love is real. You cannot package it and say, oh, this is here. Here's love, buy some. We generate it. What's that storehouse that's eternal, that's forever, that has unlimited, boundless everything? It's the storehouse of love within us. Live from that, breathe from that, give from that. And then awaken to love is a party. It is this parade, it's a party, and everyone's welcome. And we're the hosts. Okay, Brother James, take it away.
Thank you, Vicky.
Thank you, everyone. I love you all. I love you.
Yes, indeed. We are blessed to join, to be together, to awaken together. And I have an assignment for all of you this weekend. You can do it today, you can do it tomorrow, you can do it the whole weekend. Just do it all the time. And here it is. Vicky talks so much about play. Let this be play. Let this be fun. So your assignment is to play being awake. Let it be play. Let it be pretend. Let it be something that a child would engage in. Just play being awake, looking at each other and loving one another, giving everything to each other in a single glance. Don't hold back. That's the key. Don't hold back because the hold back is always the fear that I'm not going to have enough. If I give all of my love to you, aren't there other people to give? No, just give all of your love every moment. Play with it. Play being awake. It's the most delicious, wonderful play and game that you're ever going to engage in. Yes, we began the week and we're going to continue this. We talked about turning up the heat. A lot of us like that heat on simmer because it's comfortable. We're not here to be the ego's idea of comfortable. There is a whole nother level of comfort that has nothing to do with the ego's idea of being comfortable. Divine comfort means I am playing this game of love. I am awake now within that love, sharing that love, giving that love, and nothing else is real. Nothing else is important. Just be engaged, and the awakening will happen on its own. There isn't this moment where suddenly there's a lightning bolt in your brain and you suddenly, I mean, I don't think so. Maybe for some. I do think that there are some people like the master teacher who had engaged in such a shocking experience, actually entering into Nagasaki after the atomic explosion, right after, and seeing the aftermath. That was enough to shake him. Talk about being shaken by the dream. It shook him to the point that he was never able to go back to the same reference. And when that reference finally fell apart altogether, all that was left was this sacred holy opening. But that sacred holy opening is happening right now in each one of you. You don't have to go through something so traumatic. That's the beauty of us joining. We join here because we don't need that. We don't need to walk into our own personal Nagasaki or Hiroshima or anything else. All we need to do is to join together with a single intention that there's nothing more important than this play of awakening. So go ahead and have fun with it. Only love, only God, only now. This is the moment you chose. Here we go, folks. And to all of that we say, Amen, 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 y punto.